Hello everyone, my name is Stephan Roman. I'm the author of a new book, Island Empires, which explores the relationship between Romanov Russia, Britain and the Isle of Wight. I'm currently in Ventnor on the southeast coast of the Isle of Wight. This is a town that in the middle of the 19th century became a haven for Russian political radicals, writers and poets. Amongst them, the very famous Russian writer Ivan Turgenev, who arrived here in the summer of 1860, directed here by his great friend Alexander Herzen, often described as the father of Russian socialism. Turgenev initially stayed in the upper part of the town with a friend called Pavel Annenkov, but the two of them got into serious trouble with their landlady, a rather strict Calvinist woman, who disapproved of Annenkov's smoking and chucked Annenkov out. Turgenev was so angry that he followed Annenkov down to the lower part of the town, where they rented a house, some rooms anyway, in Belinda Cottage, which we are standing on the site of. The original building was destroyed some years ago, but the site is here, and there's a plaque behind me indicating that this is where Turgenev spent some months. Now, interestingly, Turgenev was not himself a particular radical, but in his novel Fathers and Sons, which he began writing here in Ventnor, he conjured up one of the most terrifyingly radical figures in all of Russian literature, Yevgeny Bazarov, who gave his name to the whole nihilist movement which spawned terror across Russia in the latter half of the 19th century. I think Turgenev himself was rather shocked by his creation, but I'm going to read you an extract from the book, which will show in a way how Bazarov was created and why he became such a monstrous figure in Russian literature. The dark, stormy weather that Turgenev experienced in Ventnor that summer of 1860 left an enduring impression on his imagination. It was during his walks along the windswept cliffs at Blackgang Chine, a few miles south of Ventnor, that he conjured up the spirit of Elis, the powerful and mystical force that would find full expression in his short story, Phantoms. At the same time, the destructive and shadowy figure of Yevgeny Bazarov, the man who believed in nothing, not even his own value and worth, began to stir, taking shape in his mind. Turgenev would walk across the hills from Ventnor to Blackgang, so that he could gaze at the foaming and raging sea as it crashed on the rocks beneath him. Here was an elemental force, a seething and violent creation of nature that could not be subdued. Out of this chaotic and primeval maelstrom, Turgenev saw a monstrous vision. I dreamed of a dark, wild, huge figure, half grown from the earth, strong, wicked and honest, but nevertheless doomed to perish because it still stands on the threshold of the future. In that moment, Turgenev conjured up the man from the future, the man who was already crushed and dying, the man who had fallen beneath the wheel. This was the inspiration for the tragic figure of Yevgeny Bazarov, the nihilist, who lived life without spiritual or emotional comfort, in the belief that his entire existence was ultimately worthless. In this dark vision, there was no place for love or affection, for artistic sensitivity, or for culture and refinement. Half a century after Turgenev had created Bazarov, the last Tsar of Russia and his family made their final visit to the Isle of Wight. They spent their time in Cowes, only a few miles from Ventnor and Blackgang Chine. It's doubtful they made any connection between their visit and Turgenev's novel. However, within a few years, they would all be murdered by men who, like Bazarov, dealt in harsh revolutionary facts and accepted that brutal acts needed to be carried out without compassion or regret. Nihilism and its gratuitous disregard for life spawned the violence of the Russian Revolution, and the last Romanovs were destined to become the most famous victim of that monstrous creature summoned up out of the depths of the raging seas around Blackgang Chine. I would like to thank all of you who have been following my book, either through social media or through the print media, and to let you know that the book will be published very shortly and will be available from the Medina Publishing website or from the Medina Bookshop in Cowes or from any reputable bookseller or bookshop in UK or abroad. Thank you very much for your attention. Spasiba.